Hello everyone. Okay, so this is a very quick video that I'm recording before I'm recording the 6 long analysis videos and news videos that I have prepared for recording today. Basically what I want to address quickly without a script, let's hope it will be quickly because I really have no idea how long this will last, is the issue of the allegedly recent mass demonetization campaign launched by YouTube. First of all, it's not really recent. This kind of demonetization thingy has been going on, basically has been going, at least I know of it going on since I've been on YouTube, and soon enough I'll be 2 years long on YouTube, at least under this format, with a monetized channel and with this moniker and with me in front of the camera. So it's not really a new phenomenon. YouTube demonetizing videos, it's not a new phenomenon. Also, the pattern of demonetization is not really a new phenomenon. So, for instance, especially those that do political videos probably have noticed that videos that mention the religion of special needs, for instance, those are the videos that tend to be demonetized the most often. Whereas videos mentioning Christianity or any other religion tend to be demonetized far less or not demonetized at all. Same goes with the topic of immigration. If you speak negatively about immigration, the chances of your video being demonetized increase significantly, whereas if you don't speak about immigration at all, you have smaller chances of having your videos demonetized. Or if you speak positively about mass immigration, you can appeal to it and eventually you'll have your monetization restored if you try hard enough. But with that being said, it has also been my experience, and it still is to this day my experience. Just yesterday I had a video of mine restored from being restricted to being general public access. It is also true that if you fight that system and if you keep on appealing and if you keep on following the procedures that YouTube has laid out for you, at least in my experience, 9 out of 10 cases, if not 95 out of 100 cases, they will do the right thing. Now, with that said, there are, at least in relation to the current drama that's been going on YouTube, which I tried to avoid speaking about, but several of you have asked me either on Facebook or on Twitter what I believe about it, and then I kept on answering, and after the 30th or the 35th person that asked me, it became a bit too much, so this is why I'm making this rather off-the-cuff video. So, there are basically 3 issues to consider. So, 2 of the 3 issues are indeed censorship related and are indeed issues that we as content creators should be fighting a little bit and definitely should be standing our ground. And then there is the 3rd issue, which is not really relevant, and at least if you're on the right or libertarian, you can complain about it, but you can't really say that's a bad thing. Or you can't really say, sorry, that's an immoral thing or something that shouldn't be happening. Guess what? Most YouTubers actually have focused on the less relevant one, which is demonetization. I'm sorry, but we don't have an unalienable, we as content creators, we don't have an unalienable right of having our videos monetized. Period. It's just not. The fact that YouTube allows us to monetize our shit is a privilege, not a right, and as any privilege, it can be revoked at any moment, and quite frankly, I would rather not take the conspiratorial route. Oh my god, the mainstream media hates us. Yes, the mainstream media hates us, but they've been hating on us for the last 4 years, so it's not like it actually changed something. Quite frankly, I can understand and I can definitely empathize, even though I completely disagree. I can definitely empathize with the fact that some companies don't necessarily want to have their ads on certain videos on certain channels. I can definitely understand if, I don't know, Colgate or Procter & Gamble doesn't want one of their ads to be on a video of me sitting on a couch saying why Islam is cancer. I really do understand why they wouldn't want that. And I definitely do understand from a business perspective why Google would say, okay, Procter & Gamble, we'll try our best not to play your ads on this guy's channel or on videos relating to this particular topic. I don't necessarily think that's wrong. Also, more importantly, many of the companies that do advertise on Google via Google AdSense, these are companies, many of them, that have no political involvement whatsoever. They're not like Starbucks, which can definitely be framed as a largely left-wing corporation. Or I don't know, basically, most of the corporations and small firms and whatnot that advertise on Google, they're firms that don't have an explicit political view. Most of them would rather stay away from any sort of political controversy, especially if it's a political controversy that doesn't affect them. I mean, think about it this way. You are Hewlett Packard, or you're I don't know, some small, let's say you're Softwin, which is the corporation that produces Bitdefender. Last year was the 6th year in a row when Bitdefender was declared the best antivirus in the world. Probably this year they'll be missing the title because they've been sloppy. But anyway, let's say you're Softwin. That's a corporation that literally has no political affiliation, at least not officially. Why? Because you don't have to. Also, it's a corporation that doesn't have to have an opinion on mass Islamic immigration or I don't know, whether trannies should be having their bathrooms or not, or any topic. Pick your topic and then think about it, whether there is a reason for a corporation to even have an opinion on that. And you'll realize that on most issues that at least those of us on the right, but generally most of the more controversial YouTubers, bigger or smaller than myself, especially the bigger ones, there is no reason to actually have an opinion on that for most corporations. So as a result, I don't blame them for wanting to stay away from the controversy. So, but sadly, most YouTubers have, at least from what I've noticed, with a few exceptions, Harmful Opinions is one of the exceptions, but most of the YouTubers that I've been following, they've been focusing almost exclusively on this first issue, the demonetization thing, which is the one on which we as content creators have the weakest case, not the strongest. And we have the weakest case because, again, we don't have the absolute right or the unalienable right of having our shit monetized. It's just not the way it is. And if the corporations don't want it, then they don't want it. Tough luck. However, there are a second and a third issue, and the second one is very easy to prove and one on which we should be fighting quite a lot. The second issue is the restricted mode bullcrap. Now, there has been this confusion in the public space that all restricted videos are automatically non-monetized and all non-monetized videos are automatically restricted. That's not exactly the case. For instance, the video in which I was describing the fact that the two Islamists with the German passports have been deported from this city and from Romania, and they've been sent back to Germany as a result of them conducting activities of Islamist radicalization. That video was initially placed under restricted mode and its ads cut off one day after I uploaded it, one day after I published it. I appealed both of those decisions, and YouTube rejected my claim that the content is advertiser friendly, so it remained demonetized, but accepted my claim that the video is not adult content, and it is now again public and users don't have to log in to see them. So basically, the thing is that on one hand, we should be fighting within the system offered by YouTube and only start screaming when that system fails. And at least with that video, YouTube was very fair with me. I mean, I'm like, okay, I don't have the right to necessarily be monetized, but at least allow it to be public because it doesn't break the YouTube terms of service. And YouTube agreed after appeal. That's fine. However, there have been indeed instances with people like Steven Crowder, for instance, or earlier this year, if you remember, Prager University had some of it, and Prager University, I'm going to critique Prager University very soon, within the next few days, but the video I'll be recording it today, just 2 hours after I'm recording this one. I'll be critiquing Prager University. I think they are wrong on certain issues, and I think they're not being particularly great on certain topics such as sexual politics, but Prager University is by far one of the most family-friendly channels, political channels that exist there, whether on the left or on the right. Prager University is by far one of the most family friendly. So to say that content posted by Prager University, any video of them, is so beyond the pale that it cannot be allowed to be seen by everyone, and you have to put it through a filter of age verification, because that's basically what restricted mode is. That was just lunacy. So YouTube was definitely wrong on that, and eventually it was fixed. But this is the kind of issue we should be fighting on, because this is where YouTube is definitely wrong, and it's definitely morally wrong. Putting this business with restricted mode sounds very fishy to me. Now, admittedly, on the other hand, we should be instructing our subscribers to disable their restricted mode, and do the same wherever they go. And if they encounter a computer that has a restricted mode available, they should be disabling it. So there's that. But on the other hand, yes, indeed, this restricted mode business is a serious issue against which those of us content creators, we should be fighting more. And of course, our fans and subscribers and the viewers and whatnot should also be helping us. But this is an issue that should be getting a lot more attention, whereas in reality, the first issue that I described, the earlier part in this video, got a lot more attention. Again, we don't have an unalienable right to have our shit monetized. Now, there's the third issue, because I said there are three to keep in mind. The third issue is the throttling. Now, throttling is a thing that we cannot yet entirely prove on YouTube. Some of us, I was talking this with Rocking Mystery a few days ago. Some of us have been monitoring traffics on our own channels, basically, and we have gathered enough evidence that there is a reasonable suspicion that intentional throttling is going on. However, we cannot yet entirely prove it, so it's still a matter of hearsay. I'm quite convinced that throttling does occur. I'm not yet convinced that is necessarily intentional, but I do think that YouTube has a throttling algorithm that for some, maybe it's by keywords or something, it definitely does throttle some videos. Same goes with other channels whom I've seen that they've posted viral videos, and I knew for a fact, for instance, there is a channel that I posted a very good video that, and you know, first time I clicked on it, it had like 5,000 views, and then several days later, after I've seen the video shared multiple times on multiple platforms, it still had like 5,600 views. That was definitely impossible. However, after like 5 or 6 days, it finally was fixed, and then it showed something more closer to reality, which was 5 million views. So definitely this kind of throttling happens, and it cannot entirely be blamed on just software glitches. No. Some of those things have to be intentional. Now, how much of it is intentional, I don't know yet. That's what I will be trying to prove, and if I manage to prove it, then obviously I'll be presenting the proof to you. But these are the last two things: the restricted mode thing, which is a clear-cut issue where YouTube is sometimes wrong, and the throttling issue, which should be investigated more. These are the two issues which are censorship issues, on which we as content creators should absolutely be fighting on and should absolutely be talking about a lot more often. We shouldn't be talking about monetization. We don't have an unalienable right to have our stuff monetized. Now, of course, it does affect the content creator's budget, but it's called tough luck. I mean, if you're not going to upload videos anymore because you have you get fewer shekels from the AdSense monetization, then I would say tough luck, really. I mean, seriously, and you know, I say that as a person who sucks bigly I mean, seriously, I really do suck at e-begging. I'm very, very bad at e-begging. I'm never direct enough and say, hey, y'all, just give me shekels. The only times I'm doing that is when I'm begging for, some tour or whatever. By the way, give me shekels for the Georgia tour. But seriously, other than that, I very much suck at e-begging. As a result, I don't get much shekels on that particular front. And sometimes there is a guy who routinely donates without any sort of questions. And every time I ask him, what do you want me to do, and he's like, just continue to be yourself and I'll continue to fund you whenever I can. And even that guy told me, dude, e-beg a little bit more aggressively, and I can't. I mean, I just can't. I just suck at that. But even as someone in that position, I still say, no, if you lose out because of the AdSense revenue gets smaller because some companies don't want to have your ads played on your videos, that's called tough luck. And if you cannot compensate that, I mean, if you really need to compensate that, get creative, get better at e-begging, which is something that I should definitely be doing. Offer better rewards, start selling stuff. I don't know, do other stuff. But just claiming that, oh my God, we're gonna stop uploading stuff because YouTube is cutting out our AdSense revenue. Sorry, that's trying to guilt trip your subscribers into supporting you just because, oh, poor me, I'm not getting my shekels from there. Nah. I think that's much more of a problem than the fact that the monetization is cut off by YouTube to begin with. And again, I'm not very convinced. I mean, look, again, it's not a new phenomenon. It's been going on since forever, and if you appeal to it, they give it you back and they restore monetization most of the time. Sure, sometimes they don't, but most of the time. For instance, out of all of the videos that I have already on my channel, roughly half of them have had their monetization cut off at some point. And then I appealed to every one of them, and now there are like 4 videos that are not monetized on this channel, 4 or 5. One of them has a copyright claim on it that I simply knew that I broke copyright there, but I left it like that anyway because it's a good video. And another 4 have had their monetization cut off because of not being advertiser friendly. So what? Tough luck. Most of the time they still give it back, and even better these days. Back in 2005, if you've had your monetization cut off, then even if you would appeal and you'd have it restored, you wouldn't be getting the shekels that you lost during that period. However, now they kind of do have a system that they somehow compensate you for the period that the monetization has been lost, for the period when the dispute was in process. So they are getting better. I mean, I would love to curse Google because Google is generally getting worse and worse as a company, but YouTube in particular hasn't really been that bad as people describe it. It just hasn't. But again, what many YouTubers probably don't do is to regard it as a service on which you are the client to the extent that YouTube makes shekels off of you, because this whole AdSense partnership thingy is a thingy on which YouTube gets to monetize our content, and it gives us 45% of it, and they keep 55% of it. So we are the client, but to the extent that most of the expenses of maintaining the platform go on them and not on us content creators. They have to keep the servers running. They have much more expenses than we do. So you have to regard it in a bit of a more of a good faith, and try your best not to succumb to this belief that, oh my God, they're after us and they're here to suppress our voices. It's most of the time it's not. It's simply not that. It's usually a much more mundane and much more simple reason for which they behave the way they do. All right. So I think that explains and that answers all of the questions that I've been getting on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. So with all of that being said, I'm now going to start recording the actual videos that I had prepared for today, and then one by one I'll start uploading them, of course, to all of you. So with all of that being said, I'll see you soon. Cheers.